Recore is an action-adventure platforming game developed by Concept and Amateur. The game was released on September the 13th of 2016 for the Xbox One and Windows 10 and is one of the first Play Anywhere games. So before I get actually talking about the review, I want to talk about some other things first. So I got the PC version of this game, and I'm glad to say that this game is not a broken piece of trash when it comes to the PC port. It's actually the first game from the Windows 10 store that I have played, which works well, and it has no major problems like another type of game from the Windows store. I'm looking at you, Quantum Break. Also, I want to talk about something else. I want to address about something about this game before actually talking about the game personally. So, recording this game was absolutely hard. It was so hard for me because Fraps didn't work with it, and Nvidia Shield Shadow Play, in fact, GeForce Experience didn't even find the game, so no Nvidia optimization for my graphics or anything like that. So I had to use OBS instead, and I had to restart the game since OBS settings was creating horrible quality videos, but I fixed it, so we are all good. The reason why I bring this up is because the same problem happened with Quantum Break. So I think any game from the Windows 10 store will go through this problem. So Microsoft, could you fix this, please? Please? So let's get right into the game. The game begins with the main character Joe and her trusted companion Mac traveling through the sands of the desert planet Far Eden, and she is looking for a core to power up the crawler, which is your base of operations, where all your upgrading and stuff takes place. She ends up finding a prism core, a prismatic core, whatever it's called. It's a shiny object. You'll know when you see it.
This is the power source we've been tracking? Never seen a core like this before. Have you, Mac? All the colors are mixed together.
And the first objective is essentially a tutorial to show you the controls and how the gameplay and battles will play out along the way. And the first thing which made me go, why, was the aimbot mechanic. Yeah, let's not have an aiming down sights system, let's have a full-on aimbot instead. Now, that is how I was thinking at the beginning of the game, but over the course of the game, as new and more powerful enemies appeared, the aimbot actually becomes very fucking handy. You also have double jump and a thrust ability to help you get to different parts of the world. There is also a clamber mechanic, so if you're just about to reach something but not quite there, the clamber mechanic might kick in and then you'll be able to reach that particular platform. After you find the power core, the main story begins. The basics of the story is simple. Something happened on Earth, so the expedition traveled to a planet called Far Eden and began terraforming a small area with the help of the core bots. Humans go into cryosleep, and the process should take roughly 200 years to complete. Joe is part of the repair crew to repair the pillars that are transforming the area if damaged. She wakes up to find that the pillar is down, but instead of waking up immediately, 96 years has passed since the pillar has been in disarray. And it's her job to bring the pillar back online with the help of her friend and companion Mac and others, but the core bots that helped to build the pillars to begin with has been corrupted by something. And here is where the first problem comes in. And that is at the beginning and in the main story, you don't really know what happened on Earth. They may mention it once, but it goes right over your head and you feel a little left out, since Joe knows but you don't. But the game has tried to remedy this by having audio logs scattered around the world, which is a nice touch and it gives you a reason to explore.
January 2084. Those mandate fools. The data package they sent didn't just affect the core bots. It modified the prime core as well. When I asked them why, they refused to answer. They accused me of overstepping my authority. but I chose not to wake the other crews. When I explained why, they questioned my judgment. The same idiots who might have disabled every core bot on this planet and the entire terraforming system question my judgment? I refuse to accept any more of their transmissions until I can be sure they aren't hiding something else. If they want to insult me with more accusations, they can do it face to face when they reach Far Eden. For the next 5 years, I am still the leader of this project, and I will do whatever is necessary to protect it.
You'll find logs from Jules' dad, co-workers, and more to really add more to the story and make it much more in-depth. But it also completely ruins the big boss reveal before even seeing him. Essentially, you'll find an audio log talking about a core bot in charge of the construction of the pillars, called Victor. A few scenes later, you see a core bot saying, basically, kill all humans, and in the subtitles, it says Victor.
Whoa. Look, Mac. The storm moved around a whole bunch of sand. It's weird. I'm getting a ping from an old emergency beacon on the other side of that gate. The storm must have been blocking its signal. Come on, Mac. We better go check it out.
All who wake must die. Go!
At least have this particular log after seeing that scene, not beforehand. The gameplay is simple but very cool. Every core bot has a different color: white, blue, red, and yellow, and each one of these cores have a different special attack and a different weakness. The weaknesses being your gun, since you can change your gun's color from white to blue to red to yellow on the fly, and if you match the color of your gun to the color of the core bot, you do even more damage. Some core bots have a shield which you can take a long time to get rid of unless you use the supercharge feature of your gun, which uses a lot of ammunition but can wreck through these shields. Oh, you don't run out of ammo, by the way. In this game it recharges when you're not shooting, so kind of like energy? Yeah, energy. There's also other combat features where you can pull out their core and add it into your collection. This ability comes up when you bring down their health to a certain point, and then you're put into a tug-of-war scenario where you're trying to pull their guts out and they're trying to keep them in. But when you pull the core out, and you can restore some of your health and your companions.
Give me your faith.
Now, when I said you can add it to your collection, I wasn't kidding. That's why you need to make a decision whether to take the core or to destroy them, since destroying them will give you parts, which can be used to upgrading your companions, especially in the later stages of the game, where you can get green and purple cores.
Well.
Now, what do collecting cores actually do? Well, it actually can help make your companions stronger. Red cores equals more attack, yellow equals more defense, and blue equals more energy. So what does the green and purple cores do? Well, they split up into the colors that make them. Now, the core bots you'll be fighting all look different. Some look like spiders, others look like wolves, but there are others too, like the mini bosses. Each mini boss has a prism core inside, and these prism cores are used to open doors. You can get the prism cores from just playing through the story or from doing challenges around the map, which I'll talk about later. So most objectives you'll be doing in the game will be to find the core bots which unlock the door. Now, they are very, very, very cute. And finding them is relatively simple, with some platforming here and there in between.
Let's get you back to your socket. In you go.
So you may be asking, what about the companions? Are they good? In short, some are better than others. Like, Mac is cool and all, but you haven't spent time with him unlike Jewel, so you aren't really connected to him. But when you meet Seth, that all changes. In the short moments of meeting him, you know what kind of personality he has. He's very timid, by the way, and he is just, well, amazing. When they stand around doing nothing, they always seem to be doing something. Jewel interacts with them through dialogue, and they are even very useful in battle, since each one of them has a different color of core, like your gun. So you can switch them in and out, but you can only have two with you at a time. One with you on the battlefield, and one waiting to be switched with. So, kind of like wrestling. Each companion can do something the other can't, such as Mac can search the sands for hidden parts or enemies, Seth can climb vertical structures, and Duncan, well, he smashed stuff.
Bash it, Duncan.
And there's one more that allows you to glide through the air like a majestic fucking eagle. But that's not the only things the companions have to offer to the game. You can find blueprints in chests which give a noise to let you know that you're next to one, and these blueprints will alter their appearance, their stats and bonuses, so it gives you another reason to explore Far Eden's deserts. It takes a Halo Reach approach to appearances, where when you change the look of your cores, their look changes in the cinematics, which just immerses you even more into the story itself.
No. That's not true. There is another, and we... Kai.
Your friend is dead. You are alone. And Far Eden belongs to me. Give me the prismatic cores.
Jewel, if anyone could set things right, I knew it would be you.
I'm not alone. And we're taking Far Eden back!
Every blueprint needs parts to be built, and you get them from the corrupted cores and just lying around in the world. But for some blueprints, you need better quality parts, which are harder to get. But you can combine 3 of the same items to get one better quality version, and it can go the other way too. Oh, and you can swap cores in different bodies, so you can put Mac's personality into Duncan's big body, and etc. You can also create loadouts for each core bot for different stats and bonuses when needed. Now, this game is an open world game, so you can go exploring for more challenges, audio logs, parts, and chests. So, better get exploring. This game has a lot of replay value, since some places at the beginning can't be reached unless you have a core bot you can get later on, such as Seth or Duncan. Now, the best part of this game besides Seth is, of course, Violet. You meet him or her. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Let's just say it's a him, okay? Let's say it's a him. So you meet him early on in the game, and you have no idea what he is saying. But his enthusiasm behind his voice and just how he acts just makes you smile inside.
Looks like there's something stuck in the memory buffer. Yes, of course I'm a human. My name is Jewel. What's your name? Violet? V10LT? Oh, you're the one locking down the transfer plates. But why? The revolution? Okay. I think Violet might be missing a few bolts, if you know what I mean.
He ends up becoming the fast travel guy to help you on your journey, and what's even better is you can find audio logs of him. You still have no idea what he's saying, but hey, that wee guy makes me smile just like Seth. So let's talk about the platforming sections of this game, and to be honest, they are very well done, and are mostly shown in the challenges and in the end game. In the challenges, you'll be either fighting waves or core bots, or an obstacle course, and each one has a reward at the end. Well, there are actually 4 rewards, but the other ones are locked behind secondary objectives such as time, collecting stuff, and switches. Each one will give you a reward, but the 4th reward is only accessible if all secondary objectives are completed. The rewards can range from blueprints, parts, and prism cores, so if you want to get the best loot, you better go do these challenges. Now, I have said almost nothing but good about this game. Well, let's decide to change that. When you're playing through some platforming sections, the checkpointing system is god awful. Instead of spawning me on a safe platform, it spawns me in the path of a death ball.
Let's go. Seth, come on.
But that's not the worst one I have encountered. This is. But the problems doesn't just end with a bad checkpoint and spawning system. The entire last act of this game is the biggest, saddest excuse to increase the game's playtime. You see, throughout the game you would collect prism cores here and there, and you would always have enough for every door you encounter, until the last act, where every single door requires 5 extra cores. And the game knows this, so there is a teleport right next to every door, which will teleport you back to the beginning next to a fast travel station, so you can go away and do more challenges. This is a big problem. Throughout the game, you are not forced to go and find the cores, so you go out and find them because you want to. But then all of a sudden it becomes your highest priority, so you'll be going back and forth between challenges and the next door over and over again. So by the end, I was bored out of my mind. I just wanted to continue the story, but every time I progressed, I would run into another wall and I would need to go away just to break it down. Now, with that being said, there was a boss battle around this section which really made me smile, so there's that. But the last act of the game is very hard platforming sections, which you have not experienced at any point of the main story without doing any of the challenges on the side. So the difficulty just goes straight up, right up a mountain, and at the end with some shooting in an area until you kill all the waves, and then more platforming. So the graphics of this game is quite impressive for what it is. The game looks good, the subtle movement of your feet in the sand is a really nice touch. And the sound design is actually really well done. When you swap your cores out for your gun to change from white to blue, there's a different sound effect for each one, and each one of those different shots, so if you're shooting in the blue version or if you're shooting in the red version, they each sound differently. So that's really cool to see. The final verdict for Recore is a 6 out of 10. It's an above average game. The game is cheaper than most of the AAA games out there. Instead of it being £49, it was £29 for me. I'm not entirely sure what that's in dollars, but it's not coming in at full game price, which normal games are. So that's something to consider. And the game has some faulty checkpoint systems. Gameplay mechanics are good. By the time you get to the end, they do start to become repetitive, but not so much to turn you away from the game. The companions, most of them are actually really well done and great, and you actually really do feel attached to them. The graphics are good. The main character is good, not great, but good enough. The main villain is spoiled from the first from the first few scenes of the game. If you ran away and explored and found an audio log, and you don't really understand his motives that well. And by the final act of the game, it just becomes one massive grind fest, and you end up hating the game because you didn't think this game was going to be like this, and it never showed you throughout the entire game that it was going to be like this, and then all of a sudden it is. So everyone, thanks so much for watching this review. If you think it helped you out, then leave a like. If it didn't, then you know what to do. If you want to know what I want, my thoughts on any other games coming out in the next few months, then subscribe, and I'll see you on the next videos. Bye bye.